Afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to listen to what we're going to say today. As you could probably imagine, so the title of the presentation is there a future for VAS? Obviously, a high proportion of what we manufacture is VAS, so you can probably guess what the answer is going to be, but we'll come on to kind of the future and what we're involved in at the moment in relation to that as we go on. If you've not heard of Westcotec before, I've not got enough time to tell us about everything that we do in 10 minutes, so we are 2 stands away on the left-hand side down here, so if you want to come and have a chat with us, please do. Pretty much we're a manufacturer based in Norfolk. We're mainly BRIN accredited, and we have over 300 different variations of sign. So anything from basic speed warning to warning signs for bends, triangles, anything within TINUS RGD. As I said, we're mainly BRIN accredited, so everything we manufacture is in-house in Norfolk, and we're an employer-owned business as well as of 2018. So a high percentage of our business, as I mentioned, is around VAS, and the reason we stick to a vehicle-activated sign premise is mostly down to power consumption, portability for different products as well, rather than going down a bigger kind of VMS route. Most of the majority of the equipment was radar-based, so for example, bend warnings, if you're above speed, a simple message would come on to say slow down, bend ahead. But there's been a big change shift in the last few years around that detection. So the majority of kit has now gone away from a radar, and we use external sensors such as thermal cameras to actually look at detection on the road and on specific instances that are happening rather than just radar tech. An example of this one, as you can see, is in Leicestershire. This is a motorcycle detection system. So this one uses inductive loops in the road to actually look at speed of motorcycles ahead. Once it sees that, it can distinguish between four-wheel vehicles and two-wheel vehicles, brings on a message. So that was one of the early kind of adopters of new intelligent tech, if you like, on a standard VAS sign. So the next thing I've got here is we had a video produced for Intertraffic in Amsterdam a few months ago, and it's pretty much covering some case studies of some very neat products that we produced. So I'll play that, and then what I'm going to do is hand over to my colleague Will, and he's going to go through some images of things that we've produced beforehand. So hopefully, if I now press next, it should play on its own.
There we are. Thanks for listening and watching that as well. As Ollie said, we don't have time to go through every single thing we've ever done because I don't think we'd have enough time this whole week to be here. This is just a really rough overview of some of the things we've done. I'll sort of start at the top, work my way across, and then we'll cover the bottom row as well. School streets are a huge thing at the moment in the local authority sector, trying to make signage to make it much easier for those people using those by not having to go out and actually switch them over, using the metal signage, the LED signage that's time clock orientated. It means that there's less people having to go out on the roads, you can cover your time for much longer, and then the message can also be changed, so you've got more uses than just that one time. A bit of movement on from the usual speed sign, trying to make that more integrated to the driver using NPR. Targets drivers a bit better, a bit more of an included message. Speed signs are brilliant as they are, but if we can improve that messaging and try and direct it more to drivers, the likelihood is to be more impact and reduce their speeds. The collision avoidance system is actually covered in that presentation you might have seen. Just to elaborate a bit more on that, using thermal cameras to pick up vehicles. You could also then look at doing that for pedestrians, for cyclists, covering much more bases than you can do with a standard VAS that's radar triggered. So your vehicles are going to be seeing a message that's actually highlighted to them and affects their scenario on their day-to-day drive, as opposed to just something they might see when they're travelling over speed. Flood signage, once again, also covered in there. To follow on from that, it just tries to improve road users' experience by trying to limit the amount of times they're impacted. Flood signage can get left, so the plate signage can get left at times, and the drivers are proceeding not knowing what's going to be ahead of them. That can cause confusion and also more danger, because they might ignore that signage in the future and then lead themselves into more danger by going into a flood area. Air quality signage, that's becoming a huge thing, especially around schools. Linking in with signage and air quality centres that are already on site to try and enhance that messaging and provide information to the local road users. Air quality information is all well and good as data, but if nobody knows what's actually happening, it's a bit of, as whoever says, an invisible killer. If nobody can see that and actually have an idea of what the impact is, people won't think it affects them. Every time if they drop their child off at school, they actually see the air quality is bad, they're going to change their behaviour, hopefully, to not impact both their children and also the people using the road. And finally, the last bit for me is our fatal-free signage. We can get much more detail on our stand regarding this, but in theory, it uses AI camera to look into a vehicle. Somebody might be using their mobile phone, not got their seatbelt on, or over speed. The one sign can cover all three facets of that. So it's actually trying to dial in more to the driver again and get more detail from them to hopefully provide a safer road for everybody else. And I'll pass back to Ollie to cover the last one on the bottom line.
So as Will's gone through there, there's a lot of external kind of sensors we're using now to activate our equipment. And we reinvest around about 15% of our profit every year back into R&D. So this is where we allow ourselves to look at new equipment and kind of the next step, if you like, within this industry. And one of those things that fell into the bracket was around connection into vehicles. So actually displaying some of these messages into the vehicles themselves. And we looked at testing with manufacturers, and just nobody wants to know at the moment because it seems to be an unreal amount of different protocols people are using. So we met George Brown from Kale Systems. He's got a stand in the startup. He's sitting at the back there. So I recommend you walk it over and have a look at what he's up to. And we've produced a unit and we're testing it at the moment in Norfolk. So we have a Norfolk owned platform, and what we're doing is we're taking real-time messages from our roadside equipment. So for example, we go down the list, anything from school signs. So these remotely programmed times will also be feeding into George's platform. So vehicles that are running the app, Android Auto, as well as having a message at the side of the road on an electronic sign, they'll also get that message in their car as well on a virtual BMS, which is overlaid within Android Auto. And that's anything, so turning traffic systems, clean avoidance, says the same thing. If you've got vehicles waiting on side roads, it will give you those individual messages and down to flooding. So that's kind of where we see the next step of where we're going with everything. And it's nice that we've now got a platform up in Norfolk where we have live systems actually being deployed. Who knows where we'll go? I mean, this is definitely a first step on the ladder, really, if you like, of the next step of connection. But yeah, that's where we're heading with things. There is another platform we're releasing as well, mid Q4, and it's going to be something called Westcotec. This is the first time that anyone's heard of this. My technical team won't be happy that I'm telling you all about it because we're not quite there with it yet, but it's on the way. And the idea is this platform is feeding in all of this information to make educated kind of decisions and algorithms around air quality, classification data, and using that buzzword of AI to come up with messaging based on situation. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with it. So summary, there is a future with VAS. I mean, obviously it's changing away from basic radar. Parish councils who have money to spend on speeding within villages, there will always be a case for that. I mean, we see anywhere up to 30% speed reduction on basic speed signs. You'll see one of the most popular ones on our stand down here. Just the portable version of it, being able to cover mass areas is really beneficial for communities. But as a step on, obviously all this integration is where we are now. I'd love to speak to any of you about kind of new studies that you've got or cases that you're looking at the moment. Also, any manufacturers that have external sensors, we're open to that as well. We're looking at APIs integration as well as part of our new platform. So, yeah, come and have a chat with us. We're not too far away. And that's kind of it, really. So, if you have any questions or anything, yeah, please let us know. If not, come and see us on our stand down there here the next day and a bit. So, thank you for your time.